So what happens when, because of a car accident, you or a loved one is injured and either can't go to work because you're injured or because you have to go to a doctor's appointment or whatever the case may be? What can you do in that circumstance? Well, sometimes there isn't a lot you can do, but here's some of the things that you can think about. If you have sick leave or PTO or something like that, you can use that up. It's something that you will want to claim or have your attorney claim later on, because especially if it's PTO that you could use for vacations or just doing what you want to do, it's not your fault that you had to use that because you were injured. So that is something that you can claim later on. But having PTO or sick leave or something like that is at least a way that you can get off from work and still get paid. Sometimes you don't have PTO or you go through PTO and you have to request what's called family and medical leave. That varies by state, and there are federal family and medical leave benefits, I think up to 12 weeks. The, not all employers are subject to the Family and Medical Leave Act, and probably most importantly, family and medical leave is unpaid medical leave. So it basically allows you to take leave while you're sick, while you're recovering from an accident, even though you're not going to get paid, but at least you won't get fired. At least that's the idea. So that's how family and medical leave works. You may have short-term disability. A lot of employers will offer short-term disability and long-term disability, but short-term disability is kind of what you want in the short term after a crash. The benefits tend to be limited, and more importantly, they almost always get repaid if there's a settlement later on. We call that subrogation. Workers' compensation might be another option. So if you or your loved one was involved in a crash and during the course of it were in the scope of employment, maybe you're driving for your employer or something like that, workers' compensation may provide, in addition to covering medical expenses, may have to cover those healthcare expenses, and like short-term disability, would likely be entitled to reimbursement or subrogation later on if there's a settlement or recovery. Some insurance policies will have a type of no-fault coverage. MedPay typically covers medical expenses, but not lost earnings. Some policies in some states will require no-fault or PIP, personal injury protection benefits, that includes lost earnings. Minnesota, for example, is a state that has no-fault PIP benefits, both medical and lost earnings. So if you are, let's say you're in Iowa or Wisconsin and you travel into Minnesota, those benefits will get added onto your policy, as well as if you're from Minnesota and you go to Iowa or Wisconsin and get involved in a crash, those benefits will come with you. As with all things, they are likely entitled to reimbursement, but not necessarily PIP coverage. But you want to talk to an attorney about that when it comes time to settling the case.